Hi everyone, this is Marianne here from Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. Wherever you are in the world when you're watching this, a huge shout out to you. Today I'd like to start with a thank you, and of course that's thank you to those that support and subscribe and like and comment and donate, all of those things that you do to support this channel. I'm always grateful. I've got a full agenda for today's reading. I want to start, or I was drawn to, the death of sports journalist Grant Wall in Qatar over the last few days. We received news that he'd actually passed away. Now, on the surface, it looks like he may have had some kind of, possibly even COVID or a heart attack. He was reporting on the soccer matches. I think it was the Netherlands match. And he complained of being breathless and a constriction in the chest area. And he basically died there. They couldn't save him. Now, I'm not sure why mainstream media isn't following this up. And the reason is this. Grant Wall, at the beginning of the controversy over FIFA holding the World Cup in Qatar, and the banning of the armbands, LGBTQ armbands, Grant Wall turned up at the stadium to report on the first match, or the first matches, in a black t-shirt with a rainbow mandala. He was actually detained by the police, the Qatar police, taken away, searched, detained for an amount of time, and then finally released. He was asked to change his t-shirt. That news went all round the world. So now he passes away. He was 48, in the stands covering the soccer match. And his brother is adamant in his grief, feels that he was murdered. He was murdered. I am a little bit incredulous, to be quite honest, as to how this could suddenly happen to the person that staged that protest in the way that he did. And the controversy around FIFA even holding the World Cup in a country that denies individual rights. So I want to look and see exactly what happened to Grant Wall. We'll then proceed down with a few other very topical current affairs and political events in the US and other places, depending on what time we have. So let's get started with Grant Wall. I'm just going to tune in clairvoyantly. Okay, so what has happened? What has happened to Grant Wall? How did he pass? So I'm getting a tension around my throat, which could be speaking out, protesting. I feel that there is a woman involved, and I saw this straight away. It could even be a maid in his hotel. Now, I'm not sure why I'm getting that. Is there a woman in his life that is particularly special? I'm just getting drawn to the presence of a woman that perhaps knows more than what we know. Okay. It is too early to speak to Grant Wall in spirit. I don't believe that within days of a spirit passing, we can start to communicate. I think it's disrespectful. But that's how I feel. That's my opinion. So I'm not going to attempt to contact him. I'm more or less going to do a scan of what actually, where his environment at the time that he passed So, what is here? What is here? Show me. Yeah, I'm seeing piano playing. I've no idea why I'm seeing these images. Perhaps he went for a drink at a bar. Was there a piano player there? Does he have a particular love of the piano? There's something around piano. Okay, so yeah, he was watching. I'm getting drawn to watching a performance, some sort of performance. Musical performance. It would be really interesting to piece together his last few days. Okay, was he murdered? Was he murdered? So I'm seeing water and a type of, I mean, Qatar is very dry. I don't know why I'm seeing water, but boats, small boats. There's some kind of, there is a possibility he could have ingested something exotic, which brought on some kind of attack. I hope that they do an autopsy back in the States to see if they can find traces, because I'm kind of getting a draw to, I'm just going to say poison. So, or eating something, that brought on some kind of attack, allergy type of attack, whether this was intentional or otherwise. I'm going to go to the cards now and just see if, I'm just going to ask the direct question. Will we find out that was Grant Wall murdered? Because it's not such a bizarre conspiracy type question when you think of what happened to Khashoggi. That was with Saudi Arabia, but Qatar is a ally. It is a state that relies on a fossil fuel economy. Qatar is also one of the main funders of Elon Musk's Twitter. We all know how that's going. So they have political interests, and they're not above using those interests. Was Grant Wall murdered? I'm feeling there was interference. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm seeing all sorts of images that would lead me to think that this was planned and there was some sort of interference. Now we have here the Lovers and the Two of Wands. That could be a reference to the woman. Perhaps someone in his hotel. As I said, the original image I got was of a maid. Was Grant Wall murdered? The Eight of Coins. The Eight of Coins. Work. Skill. And we've got the other signifier card, the Four of Coins, holding, here is the reference to the chest, holding my cards close to my chest, insecure. He was definitely insecure about being there. His work took him to a place that he did not feel comfortable. Now we have contracts and commitments as at the foundation of the reading. You can see the way this is going. I don't know anything about his private life. I don't know anything about him. The Knight of Coins in the past, so we've got this kind of steady, resilient type of energy. It's often my card for hiring somebody. Now we have the Star card crowning this reading. So I think we're going to get to the truth. Is this going to be another Khashoggi type revelation here? I don't think we can get much clearer than the short-term outcome was death. Death through his work. Death through standing his ground. And there's something around contracts and commitments here. Now we have the Three of Coins. This card turned up a lot when I was reading on Khashoggi. This is, dark, like people working together in teams. And that's what I'm seeing clairvoyantly. It's like a chain of events that occurred. And the atmosphere around is the Emperor, control, the dictator, decreed, something was decreed, something was ordered. Hopes and fears, we've got the Tower card. The outcome is the Six of Swords. That's moving on. That can be transition. He is where he should be in the afterlife. It was possibly a reason. I don't want to be too explicit, but I don't think he suffered. See what's clarifying that. The Knight of Swords, the truth will emerge. There's something around the boat here. Remember, I got that image. Somebody travelled somewhere to get something. And the Chariot, the truth is going to come out really quickly. Look, I can only read my cards. I'm not always correct. But these are all fairly strong yes cards. And we've got the truth emerging in time. It will take even a couple of weeks. The truth emerges as to what actually happened to him. We do have the loss, the Three of Hearts. It's my experience in reading on those that pass over. These sort of cards tend to come up, and we have this, partisanship, politicalness, divisiveness, obstacles and challenges, and the Four of Cups. I'm just going to say that there was some kind of enemies here. The Judgment card, it was inevitable that he made these enemies, and we've got loss and walking away. So again, the Lovers card comes in here. It could be that he was murdered. I don't know if he's gay, or I have no idea. But the Lovers card is here. There's something around expressing his support for everybody's love is equal. I don't like what I'm getting here. It could be possible, and I don't like reading on these type of events, but I think there's a possibility they might find foul play and his brother might be vindicated. His brother's feeling that he was murdered might be vindicated. We'll watch how that unfolds, and here again, I may be right and I may be wrong. It's hard for me reading on these events on death. But I just have to say there were a chain of events. I don't know why I'm getting water and boats. There could be a woman involved. And it was ordered at a very high level in Qatar. Very, very high. The Emperor type of level. All right, let's move on now. One thing, we'll go to the US now, away from the Middle East, away from the Arab type countries, and move to. There is a current case before the Supreme Court, Moore versus Harper. It is testing the Independent State Legislature theory, ISL for short. Basically, that would seek to give control of the drawing up of maps, electoral maps, and running of elections to the states. Now, that's contrary to the Constitution. Everybody is quite surprised that the Supreme Court even heard this. 3 justices seem to want to hear arguments, and you can guess who they might be. Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch. Kavanaugh at this stage is sitting on the fence. It runs contrary to the Constitution, which explicitly gives power to the Congress to set rules for elections. When it comes to electoral maps, the state's Supreme Court hear matters on challenging gerrymandering, voter suppression, the fairness of the maps drawn up by the state legislatures. This action has been brought by North Carolina, trying to get through a very partisan gerrymandered electoral map, which the Supreme Court of North Carolina struck down. They then took that to the Supreme Court. Now, I've read on this before. I don't think it gets through. Surprise, surprise, the originalist jurist, Amy Coney Barrett, is actually tipping her hand that she would not support ISL. We know the Democratic justices won't, and we know likely that Roberts won't either. So I've read that it doesn't get through. Let's see if that's still current. So we've got 2 sticks crossing one another. Like, what is this? I mean, this is deliberate. This is a deliberate strategy by the Republicans, and it just goes to show how partisan the Supreme Court in America actually is. Page of Pentacles. Okay. That's young people, and as the next generation comes online, the Republicans know if they don't do something, that it will be hard for them to win elections in the future. Right. Oh, gosh. I'm glad Christmas is coming up and we'll get some Christmas cheer. All right, Moore versus Harper. Will the Supreme Court vote to support ISL and hand the states the power? Yes or no, please. Will the Supreme Court support ISL? Show me clearly and go against the text of the Constitution. Will the Supreme Court support ISL? I still think the answer is no. Now we've got the Wheel of Fortune. It literally is. It literally is a. I just get it's gambling. It's gambling with democracy, and we've got the 6 of Cups, the past. So, straight away I can see that they'll hold with the past precedent and history. But we've got this 4 of Pentacles at the foundation of the reading. How many 4 justices will vote against this? At least. So who have we got? The Democratic, 3 women, Coney Barrett, and I think Roberts might even cast this deciding vote. Well, he definitely won't vote for this. I don't ultimately think Kavanaugh will either, but let's just keep going. This has been some kind of manipulative pathway here to get this to the Supreme Court. The King of Swords strategy, it's Aquarian energy. It is the prosecutors. I know there have been some fantastic arguments to knock this down. I think Neil Katyal is one of them on behalf of a number of organisations fighting for democracy. The Hermit card, introspection and reflection. I think that the justices, it may even come down to even only 2 dissenting justices. There's an isolation here. Anyone that would put this through would be not in the majority. Now we have the World card, endings and beginnings. That's major arcana, clarified by the moon. I think this is really decisive. Once it gets the no, it really does put something else to bed. There could be some kind of article done that traces this back to a manipulative move in more ways than one. There's something here that we're not seeing. The moon card brings things to the surface. It's clandestine, shadowy energy. We've got the death card in the hopes and fears. I think people's fears are that it would put an end to democracy. And the outcome card is the Knight of Coins. So I feel that they're going to go with the tried and true. They're not going to deviate. Let's see what that's clarified by. There's too many obstacles and challenges to them voting this way. There's no justification because it runs contrary to the Constitution. But it was a partisan move to bring this forward. I'm more seeing no, don't even ask the question type thing. But this was some kind of, it was definitely a strategy. And the Four of Cups. So I think ultimately the Republicans are disappointed, but there might be a slight door left open with this. I don't, yes, it'll be a no. We're not supporting ISL. But because I think they'll ultimately be disappointed. There's 3 spilt cups here. It's mostly about partisanship. It's mostly about trying to get a competitive edge. But I do see 1 cup remaining. And we've got justice, balance. So, no, I think justice will be done. I think that the guardrails, the 9 of Wands will hold. I think they'll hold quite strongly. There may be, I think, maybe 2 dissenting justices, but what worries me is it looks like there's a slight crack there, that it may come back in some other form. I'm just going to draw some clarifiers on that. I'm not getting through very much content today. That's okay. We'll save it for later on in the week. So, ISL. Will the justices vote no? There's disagreement and dissension amongst them. I see that, but I feel it's a no. But let's just see. Show me these cards in front of me. Yeah, the Empress card. Something around a time, a period of time. Will they vote no? Will the justices vote no? The women vote no, is what I'm seeing. And we've got the 6 of Cups. They stay with the history. They stay with the precedents. They stay with the past. Now it's very clear all women will vote no. And we'll see what else happens. So we've got the 9 of Pentacles, and independence. The court, at least on this, will stay independent. But there's a warning here. These are all yes cards, by the way, in answer to my question. But there's a warning here. The Magician has come up. The Magus has come up twice. A manifestation of the current partisan climate. A manifestation of the current iteration of the GQP. But I do feel that someone there's that cup again, the Knight of Wands, and the 4 of Pentacles again, which in this deck is Dominion. They vote no, basically, but there's a door that's left slightly ajar to perhaps bring this back in the future. And that, my friends, is because the Supreme Court has elements of partisanship on it. But no, the Constitution will stand. Congress retains the rights, but not all justices will agree on this. It won't be a straight. There'll be 1 or 2 that may dissent or may indicate or do something to leave a tiny crack there. But the answer is no. They won't support independent state legislature theory. The majority court does not. Okay, so what else will we look at? Yeah, the special counsel and Trump. Special counsel Jack Smith. Stephen Miller, Trump's offsider policy advisor, has been before the grand jury in DC. Judge Beryl Howell, the DOJ, investigating matters including stolen documents, classified documents, and the attempted coup on January the 6th. What is Stephen Miller doing there? Also, I do want to... all right, let's just one question at a time. Okay, Stephen Miller. What evidence is he bringing forward before the DC jury? Is this relating to January the 6th? Is Stephen Miller talking about... I think he's more on classified documents. But here we've got the Three of Cups, support, circles of support, and the Devil. Okay. So he's been quizzed on what he's seen and heard, but I did get an initial draw around he may have even requested documents. He may be giving them that sort of information. Again, he could have been offered some sort of deal there. And we've got, the January the 6th. So he's giving evidence on multiple matters. That's the Six of Wands, the victory card. Now we have the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, granting of a wish. That's Crown in this reading. He's giving them good information, believe it or not. He's probably being quizzed. I don't know who the prosecutors are, but this could even be the judge, the Queen of Swords. He's speaking. He's giving truthful testimony. The Emperor about Trump, about the presidency. I get a real pull to things around the documents, and the Queen of Cups, revelations here. Don't forget, Kellyanne Conway was also giving evidence to the jury, to the grand jury. The Knight of Wands, movement. Who was at the White House? What did Trump know about the march on the Capitol? And we have the Star card. So his testimony is actually going to be quite powerful. We've got the Nine of... he's worried. He's worried about being incriminated. And we get the Three of Coins, who worked on what. So I feel he's giving evidence over... I'm getting a particular draw to classified documents that might have underpinned policy. But he's also talking about those that came and went at the White House and those that worked on specific things, specific policies, specific projects and plans. This is beyond just the coup, is what I'm seeing. And the past. Who worked on what in the past? What? This is the King of Coins. Okay, so here I get some draws to emoluments, loans and debts, conversations. This could even be sedition. This is more than what we think it is. This investigation is wider ranging than what we think. And it's going to surprise us in some way. The Magician and the Death card. It's making my head spin, actually, but he is giving truthful testimony. He's not... I think he could have even... All of them, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have done deals to give this truthful testimony in exchange for any sort of immunity. Did he know Trump was taking a specific classified document, given that he was the chain of command or signature that signed these things over and should have should have known about getting them back. There's all sorts of implications here. How much did he know about the planning, the Three of Pentacles? The comings and goings of the White House. I mean, this is a fairly broad investigation. Okay, now I also want to just take a little bit of time to talk about Alvin Bragg. He successfully prosecuted and indicted and convicted the Trump Organization. So far, Weisselberg and other financial officers at the Trump Organization have given testimony that tax fraud occurred. The conviction has already been, the jury voted to convict. So we know that. I saw the Trump Organization would shut down years and years ago. The question now is, will Bragg indict the CEO, the managing director? Now we know Ivanka has given evidence in that prosecution in return for immunity, also with Letitia James. So again, we predicted that. The huge indictment and conviction in December that I saw was, I've always said Bragg would get this right. He's hired a former DOJ prosecutor that worked with Letitia James on the Trump case, civil case. Is he going after Trump? So here's the question. Will Bragg, the Manhattan DA, indict Trump on these tax fraud schemes that within the Trump Organization? Trump's signature is already on some part of the accounting books. Will Bragg go after Trump and indict Trump on these tax fraud cases? Always felt he was going to try and get a conviction of the organisation first. Now we have here travel, movement forward, and the full card, new starts. Okay, so these are strong yes cards. There is obviously a lot of anxiety. I don't think this is for Bragg. I think Bragg, in a way, has been vindicated. But there's a lot of anxiety for Trump. The ghost in the window. I think I watched Cash Peters' last show that talked about Trump being actually quite frightened. The ghosts of the past. So we have the Knight of Wands. This was a plan in the past, and moving forward with that plan, he had that firmly already in his mind, or in his strategy. We have the Five of Cups, so there's loss and regret here. Bragg was absolutely pilloried at his decision not to charge Trump way back then. His idea was he went after the organisation. But I think he's had teams working on charging Trump for a long time now. I really believe that. We have the Four of Coins here, so standing his ground, but also somebody's holding back on evidence. We have the Queen of Coins. So this is money, security. It's also national security. You see how these things would play into one another at some level? That's interesting, those two cards. Let's keep going. The Seven of Wands in the hopes and fears. That's actually a case bringing forward an indictment. And we have the Three of Wands. I think he's been working, that's yes. He's been working on this actual aspect that Trump abused his power. There's a foreign influence here as well. Don't forget, he's got the tax returns. He's working on an indictment of Trump. Don't worry about that. He took another route. So Weisselberg didn't flip. So therefore, they couldn't charge Trump. They kept working on Weisselberg at the Trump org level. offered him a deal. He took that deal and he testified that this tax fraud had occurred. Bragg secured the conviction of the Trump org. Now he's going to go after Trump in that order for abusing his power as a company director. There's some sort of a world of woe. There's some sort of foreign influence here, and we've got our 10 of Swords that keeps coming up, classified by heartbreak and betrayal. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. The Ides of March. Okay, watch New York, as I said in my last reading, because we're not done yet with an indictment at the state level for Trump. And Bragg's been working on this as a heavy foreign influence here. Let's wait and see, folks. I hope I'm right. Bye for now.